Hey, what's up? It's Emilio DiSpirito, and this is the Wealth Architect Podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you each and every single week. My team and I have hand-selected our guests to come on the program to talk about how to build wealth financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, right? There's so much that goes into building a lifestyle full of wealth, and we hope that this content really reaches you, not only in your brain, but in your heart, and that you could do something with this. So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and we're going to have a great show. Hey, a special thank you to our sponsor, Annie Mac Home Mortgage, whose Cash to Keys product is disrupting the industry. Sick and tired of finding the perfect home, not having your offer selected? I got to tell you, it happens all the time. With Cash to Keys, Annie Mac gives sellers a cash guarantee for each of their buyers' offers. Stop bidding and hoping. Instead, bid with Annie Mac and bid with confidence. Don't just bid, but win. Annie Mac Mortgage. Have you ever heard of upfront underwriting? Well, I haven't until I started working with Movement Mortgage. Movement Mortgage is one of the top loan originators around the country. Specifically, I want to give a thank you to Matt Bates. And if you're lucky enough to live in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, or New Hampshire, I strongly suggest you contact Matt Bates at rimortgageguy.com. Again, rimortgageguy.com, and he's going to help you to find that dream home. He does upfront underwriting, which means they fully approve you for a mortgage before you even place offers, increasing your chances of winning that dream home. rimortgageguy.com. Season 2, Episode 4 of The Wealth Architect. Welcome to the program. We've got a really good show for you today, an informative show. Everybody is so quick to want to grow their wealth, but nobody's so quick to want to protect and preserve their wealth and make a legacy for themselves and their family for generations to come. So we brought on a top-notch attorney here, Georgio, and he's with Inman Tourgee, and he, again, top-notch attorney who deals with trust. So we're going to ask him a ton of questions. I feel like you're going to find some really great intel out of this program. And we're going to go ahead and put his Instagram out there if you follow us on Instagram, where you can connect with Al and ask any questions you need, and he can help you out for a fee, right? Because attorneys, I think you guys charge fees, but well worth it. Good stuff. Welcome to the program,
Thank
Al.
you, Emilio.
Great to see you. Over the years, Al, I've seen a lot of people amass serious amounts of wealth. And I've seen people lose wealth, and I've seen them not protect wealth. So this is such a super important topic today, and I'm glad you're here to talk with us.
Thanks for having me.
Before we jump into that, though, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. You're a pretty competitive guy. You're a football player,
Yep.
Top-ranked football player, right? Tell us a little bit about your history and who you are.
Thank you. So my name's Georgio. I work at Inman Tourgee in Coventry, Rhode Island. The firm's been around for 30-something years now. I'm one of 9 attorneys there. I graduated from Exeter Ranch High School in 2011. Again, like Emilio said, I did play football there and amassed a large amount of records. Recently just got into the quarter-century All-State team, which was great. A great article written in the Providence Journal. On September 21st, I'm being inducted into my college, Norwich University's Hall of Fame for athletics. Another great thing, but I feel like sports really helped me, become an attorney and kind of take that next step and keep that competitive edge, like Emilio said.
But what I love working with you, right, that I've noticed, you are a team player. And, some attorneys, right, are very standoffish and not approachable, and just kind of, I hate to say it, not easy to deal with, but you've been fantastic to deal with. And every time I talk with you, I learn something new. And I appreciate you being a part of my team. And hopefully anybody listening there will be able to team up with an attorney in their marketplace. Or again, you can connect with Al. Al, where are you licensed?
I'm licensed just in Rhode Island.
Just in Rhode Island. Okay, so if you're a Rhode Island person, great. But trusts are more or less, it's something that's federal, right? It's that goes across all 50 states, right? It's the same thing, or is it different state to state?
There are trusts in all 50 states. All across, obviously, but things do vary state to state. Mm-hmm. So I normally will tell people we get calls from Florida, Connecticut, Massachusetts. And I always instruct everyone, just consult an attorney in that state. That it's important to reach out to someone. There may be some little nuances. There are differences in laws by state. So you do want to absolutely consult an attorney in your own state.
Yeah, but I mean, the overall, what we're going to talk about today, though, is pretty much a blanket assessment for all 50 states. And like Al said, of course, a disclaimer, talk with an attorney in your state, if you want specific details. But overall, let's talk about it, though. What is the main function of a trust? And let's talk about why do so many people, tell me what the main function is, and why do so many people feel like this is only for like the ultra wealthy?
Yeah. No, I mean, there are some vehicles that, they would say the ultra wealthy to this generational skipping trust that would, help save taxes in some instances. That may be for, say, the super wealthy that you had listed, or legacy trust. Normally, if you're in the $14 million range plus, those are good vehicles to go with. But other than that, there's other multiple trusts as well. There's irrevocable trust, there's revocable trust, which I'm sure we'll get into a little more. Revocable trust is good for anyone. I mean, the baby boomers have their most protected asset, which should be their home.
Yeah.
What they can gain there is maybe they do a revocable trust, they get a step up in basis for the home. So somewhere where, say they bought their house for $200,000, they sell it for $1 million now, you have an $800,000 tax burden.
Oh yeah.
Or if you do something like a trust, you get that step up in basis. Say it's worth $950,000, sells for $1 million. Would you rather pay taxes on $50,000 or $800,000?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. 50.
Right, absolutely. And then going next into like something like an irrevocable trust, that's where you can protect your own assets. That's something where, creditors may not be able to kind of break that barrier into that. There's a lot of instances where people go into nursing homes and the nursing homes just completely take over and take all the equity you have in your home.
And we're going to cover a variety of topics, right? This podcast, of course, is for our fellow entrepreneurial friends, but also, who doesn't have family members really, and maybe parents who could leverage a trust? Isn't there such thing as a look back period where, like, if they're going into a nursing home, as long as the money has been quote unquote seasoned, I believe, if I have that right, in a trust, what is that, like a 5-year look back period?
Correct. The question reads 60 months on the Medicaid application. Okay. So it'll say, has there been any trusts created in the last 60 months? Have you transferred any assets in the last 60 months? So it is 60 months for a look back period. People say 7, people say 3, but it's absolutely 60 months.
All right. So let's just say, if somebody goes into like assisted living and they could start pulling money from that if it's less than 5 years. Is that what it is?
More or less, yes. So what happens is if you were going to a nursing home, you have to spend down all your assets. So it's not like they don't come in, they don't say the house is mine now.
Yeah.
They'll look at all your funds. Well, what do you have in the any retirement accounts that you may be able to get the income coming from there? Any other bank accounts, brokerage accounts, things like that, and you just pay monthly to whatever it costs. I mean, I have family members now. I believe it's about $12,000 a month. And they just spend down that assets until you have your one asset that everybody worked so hard for, and you'd like to see it paid off, is the home, right? And now there's the opportunity for, say, DHS to attach to that home.
Tough, yeah. And that money goes quick. I mean, once they start pulling from it, I mean, your wealth can deplete rather quickly. Let me ask you this, right? What do you see as maybe the biggest mistake that people make when they're planning for their overall like wealth protection, retirement? Like, what is the biggest mistake that you've seen?
The biggest mistake I see where everybody seems to say this is they always say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll call the attorney tomorrow. I'll call the attorney next week. Well, then tomorrow turns into, 10 years from now. Yeah. And then sometimes they get called and it's like, I need to get, a will or a trust for my dad. And sometimes I ask the tough question is he competent to still sign documents? And I'd say sometimes the answer is no.
He wasn't when he was.
Right, exactly. So, don't kick it down the road.
Just kidding, Dad. Love you, buddy.
Sorry. I love you too, Dad. Yeah. But don't kick it down the road. It's one of those things. It's like, I'm sure you see it a lot in real estate. Everyone says, well, I'll wait till rates go down.
Oh, yeah.
And in the great words of my friend Emilio, date the rate and buy and marry the house.
Oh, that is not my quote. I said that. I said that quote that I heard somewhere, but that quote is that is not mine. But yeah,
Oh,
but it makes sense
it
though, right?
does.
I would say this. So like you sent me over my will, and I think a trust, yeah, stuff I need to fill out like 4 months ago, dude. And I keep saying, yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I'll get to
Yeah.
that. Like, man, I hope I get to that. I really do.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just gonna be somebody that makes that mistake, which I don't want to do. So let's talk about some of is there tax benefits to having a trust in place? And does it, like, I hear of people operating out of a trust.
Yeah,
How's that
there can
work?
be some tax benefits. You can lower your taxable estate. What that means is it's about the state for Rhode Island right now. The threshold is 1.8 like 03 million. And then going to federal, it's about 14. I think it's just shy of 14 million, or a little over 14 million right
Yeah.
now. So if you put into a non-grantor trust, or something that you take the assets out of, right? So it's no longer part of your taxable estate. It's in its own trust.
Mhm.
It's run that
It's its
way.
own entity, right?
Exactly. Yep. You have to get your own, tax identification number, everything like that. You can't run your own trust, but taking that assets out of your name could decrease. Say you have $15 million in assets, you have a $3 million house, you take that out. Now you're down to 12 million. There may be some state, taxes you may have to pay, but federally you're under that threshold.
All right. So if you're under that threshold, that money is not taxable when you die. Is that it?
For estate tax purposes, you may not have an estate tax due, but it
That's what I
depends
mean, the
what's in
estate
there. I
tax,
mean,
yeah.
it could be obviously the principal wouldn't be, but if there's any income, there may be some tax benefits there.
How much I mean, I know they vary, right? But like federal, let's just talk federal. Like how much are estate taxes federal? Like, is there a percentage, or is it like going to, like when we file our taxes, it's kind of like
Yeah.
wherever your CPA says the numbers all fall. It's like,
Yeah. You'd have to take a look at the whole picture. It's a tough thing to answer. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the trust based? What's in there, right? Is it just real estate? Is it real estate investments?
Yeah.
Where did the money come from?
So it
Is it
varies.
gaining, maybe interest, or how is it kind of increasing the amount?
Got it. Got it. So, all right. So let's talk about, like, if you're living, okay. So you're living, and obviously if you're living, so you're living, you're putting a trust together, you're throwing all of your assets in a trust. How does, like, if I was to put all of my investment properties in a trust, some other assets that I have, like some businesses, can you put businesses in a trust?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So can you take payouts from the trust? Like pretend like I know nothing about trust, because I basically don't know anything about trust, right?
Right.
Like, so I'm going to ask these questions, and let me be the fool asking the questions, right? Which I like. So tell me a little bit about how that works. Like, can you take payment out of the trust? How does that all work? Is it like having a checkbook?
Yeah, you could absolutely, pay yourself out of there. It also depends. I mean, for someone, I'm guessing a lot of it would be like a grantor trust, something that you still want to retain complete control over. Obviously, if it was to go into something like an irrevocable trust, you lose all control there. But as far as like if you were to put your properties into a revocable trust, yeah, and then it's, I always tell people, contact your accountant to see what the best way to pay you is and go that route.
So if you want to go get qualified for like a home, right, or another asset, but your personal, it looks like, because the trust is a separate entity, right?
Correct.
So you'd probably want to do all of that within the trust, because if me, I go and I have everything in my trust and I get nothing in my name, I look broke.
Yeah.
Which is good, by the way, which you want to look broke because you're going to pay less taxes, right?
Right.
But when you're going to get like an approval on a home for your family, you want to then put that in the trust.
A lot of people, what they do is they put it in after. If you're doing like a grantor trust, something that you still have complete control over, that's not one that you're going to go get your own tax identification number on. Normally, it's tough because you can give a million scenarios and it's kind of going to be different person to person. But as far as real estate goes or different assets, you still have control over it. So when it comes to your personal taxes, you're putting all that on your personal tax return. Now, something that you don't have control over, like I said, that irrevocable trust, that's the one that you get your own identification number, and it's run by the trustee, who's the third party that you had chosen to run that.
So who should not use a trust?
Who should not use a trust? Someone with, I don't want to say minimal assets, but if you don't own a home and you're looking to avoid probate, there are other ways to do that, obviously. You could have another name on your bank account or things like that. It's going to depend on what those assets are that are involved.
Yeah.
But if there's real estate involved, you can almost give a million reasons why a revocable trust may be great for someone, and even an irrevocable trust. But again, there's advantages and disadvantages to everything. If you put your home into an irrevocable trust, like I said, you lose all control. You may not be able to buy, sell, or pull any money from there.
Got it. And, I'm really big into legacy. And, my name is Emilio the fourth. My dad is the third. My son is the fifth. I'm already telling my son, you need to have Emilio the sixth. And my plan is to get my son into the real estate business, right? And ultimately, I want to build a legacy, right? So, and I know a lot of our listeners do. We had Jim Paiva, who who's a friend of both of ours, come on and talk about how he's building a legacy through Elite Auto and handing the business down to his children as well, right? But how can somebody use a trust to preserve their legacy?
The best way to kind of preserve the legacy is to put that business, that asset, or whatever it may be into a trust. The reason being is you can control what you put for, specific things in there. How do you want it to run after you pass away? Obviously, if you never put your house into a trust, you don't put your business into a trust or investments. Once you pass away, welcome to the probate process, and kind of, buckle up, because it's timely. It's expensive.
The right people might not get the right things.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So you want to protect against that. But keeping the legacy alive by having the business or real estate or something in the trust like that, you can kind of control what happens after you die as well. So it'll still be operating as you had put whatever stipulations in your trust.
Now, I'm sure you've seen, some people kind of, some things not go the way that they wanted to, especially when you're dealing with probate, right? Do you have any stories, without saying any names, of like any type of situations you could share with us where something happened or something went to the wrong person or some like a nightmare type of situation?
Yeah. What I can say is a lot of nightmares seem to happen when people don't properly plan for their death. It's always a good idea to consult an attorney, make sure all the documents are being written correctly. Sometimes specific people have to be disinherited from there. And just having things on paper and making sure it's done correctly. 90% of the nightmares that come are people who did not do any estate planning.
Yeah.
And again, I've seen nightmares from estates valued at about $16,000. I've seen estates be nightmares that are valued at $5 million.
I mean, needless to say, so everything is like per basis. And I always have people, like, being in real estate, they say like, oh, what's my house worth? Well, I got to go look at your home. They're like, can't you just like tell me? Well, like, no, because like I don't know, right? Like how old's the roof? Like how old's this? How old's that? Like what does the inside look like? I know the location, sure. I know in the neighborhood, like homes are going from like 1 to 1.5 million, but that's a $500,000 spread there. And if you have something really unique, it might be even higher or maybe even lower, right? So everything is case by case, and it needs to be looked at from a professional's eyes, and you need that guidance. And I see, again, so many people like building massive amounts of wealth, and nobody's talking about this stuff, right? It's like, it's not such a hot topic to talk about. I listen to a ton of books, ton of podcasts, and really, I just don't see a ton on the trust end of it, but I see all the wealthiest people in the world operating out of trusts. So I'm like, what are we missing here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, what I see often is people are just putting it down the road.
Yeah.
They'll do it next week. They do it next week. No one wants to wake up and, pick up the phone to an attorney and say, how do I prepare for when I die? So a lot of people have fear of talking about it as well. And it's a barrier you kind of have to break down for people before you kind of get into it. Cause it is one of the, it's a tough part for everybody, and it's a very emotional.
Sure is. Well, let's talk about protecting yourself from lawsuits, right? So some people have LLCs, but you can pierce the corporate veil. Does a trust protect you more having your assets in a trust protect you more, leave you with less exposure than an LLC? Or which one would you say for, say, a guy like me in like my 40s? Is it better to operate out of a trust or operate out of an LLC, say a bunch of rental properties? Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I'd say, they could both be great. You absolutely, for you, because you should have an LLC, right? If you're
Hmm.
dealing with businesses, that
Hmm.
way but you have to keep things separate. I mean, you mentioned piercing the corporate veil. It's a very high bar to kind of break through that and pierce it. But I've spoke with a lot of people on, they're just like, oh, I pay my this bill with this account, and you can just tell that the commingling of funds and commingling of assets
Oh,
is,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
you need that LLC protection. You just have to, again, anyone can go online and do their own LLC, right? But not everyone is going to know, how to protect themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get back to your question. An LLC would be the first step to take. Now, if you decide to put it into a trust, you could absolutely do that. It
Hmm.
could, again, it's maybe a business that will still be able to control. Say if you were to pass away now, well, who's gonna take care of Anglin Volkers? How do you want Anglin Volkers to run after you pass away?
It's Joe's problem, Joe Fazio's problem. we're talking about real estate, like not E&V. We're talking about like, and I know you can talk about that too, but we're talking about like rental properties and other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the real estate brokerage business is fun, let me tell you.
Oh,
But,
I
yeah.
bet. Yeah, so for rental properties, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a good idea to have your rental properties into an LLC. God forbid somebody slips and falls because you
Yeah.
didn't get there fast enough to screw the stairs back, the stair down, or the railing. Guess what? You're getting sued.
Yeah.
Would you rather them sue you personally with that house and everything else, or just the LLC? The answer is probably going to be the LLC.
Yeah, it's just LLC.
Right. Again, you can take that step further for the trust. So the trust, what that would help with is, well, who should own that property? Do you own it with somebody else? Who is going to get it after you pass away? What if your partner were to get divorced? Who you have that with? That way, you can make protections on that as well.
Got it. So while we're talking about LLCs, right, I just want to switch a gear for a second because you are a business attorney, right? You deal with LLCs, the formation and, structure and all that. So is it better to have each property owned under a different LLC? I hear different things from different people, under a different LLC, or can you just have a bunch of them under one LLC? Like, what's the best way
Yeah.
for protection?
The best way for protection would absolutely be to have each property into its own LLC. If you have multiple properties into one LLC, you still have that personal protection, absolutely. But if you have two properties into an LLC and say, we'll use, Susie slips on at one property, you're still personally protected, but you have two properties on the line.
Oh, got it. Got it. So Susie has access to both of those properties.
Susie's going to have a good day.
It depends on her attorney, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's say, all right. So you have a trust. You could put LLCs in the trust, right? Wouldn't
Correct.
the trust be like the umbrella or no?
Yeah, some people have the trust operate as, like you said, the umbrella over multiple LLCs. I've seen that and done them before. I would say it is rare, but you could absolutely do that.
Got it. Got it. So, and again, I want to pick your brain on the business and the stuff to like the LLC type of stuff too. But, so could you have like a larger like LLC which handles all of the small LLCs, and these LLCs like for each property under that larger holding company? And is there any benefits to that, or is there like, I see people set things up with like an umbrella company and they have all their different companies under that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I understood it, but
Yeah, if you look online, that people have done and tried a million different ways,
Yeah.
right? I've seen, like I said, a larger trust own multiple LLCs, or there is sometimes a corporation who owns multiple LLCs inside that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is definitely a case by case on meeting somebody and kind of trying to break all that down before even discussing that topic.
Because then I hear and this might be a conversation for a CPA, right? But then I hear that there's different ways you could pass, you can pass expenses through, and you could mitigate your tax exposure.
Yeah, and I definitely know there are ways to do that. I would definitely say consult with an accountant who kind of deals with that, right? There's a lot of accountants, there's a lot of lawyers, but I would definitely want to find someone who specializes in that, who can.
Let me ask you this, right? When you're building wealth, in your opinion, who are the top five most important people to have on on your team, on your wealth building team? What professionals, who is it?
I would say obviously an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
an accountant,
Mm-hmm.
a financial advisor,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. For me, I'm building wealth, I'd say a general contractor and a real estate agent.
Nice. Good. General contractor. Wow. Why the GC? It's interesting.
I love the trade businesses. I always say those are the most loyal people to you. If
Mm-hmm.
you do well by, the trade businesses, they'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll refer you a lot of people, and they'll kind of, they help you out along the way. They want to grow with you.
Wow. You having a good contractor, I've never heard that in the top five, but it makes sense, especially if you're looking to develop, if you're looking to build. Shout out to my business partner Edwin Boge of Boge Brothers Contracting. Him and Alex, amazing people, and yeah, you know what? They're fantastic partners, and really, you can build a lot of wealth if you have. In this business, if you have the right contractors behind you. But also, I think what you're saying is you can get a lot of referrals from them if you're in other businesses too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because contractors are literally working with business owners, homeowners. They're building neighborhoods, they're building banks, they're building buildings, they're doing all of these things, and they also deal with the electricians, the plumbers. I mean, they probably talk with as many people in a day as you or I do. You as an attorney, me as a real estate advisor, and somebody in real estate. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Wow, good stuff. I think having people in the community with their ear to the ground, like a really good barber, right?
Okay.
Okay. Like if you're in a high net worth area and you have a really good barber, like they know the dirt on everyone, right? So be careful what you share, but
Oh, absolutely. They know everything about everyone.
yeah.
I've been with the same barber since I think it was in fourth grade.
Wow.
Yeah, and sometimes if you need to know the local tea, I just give him a call and say,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on here? What's going on there? They know who's building the house next to you, on
Mm-hmm.
top of you, beside you, and who they use as an attorney and everything. But I can say having a barber, that's a good one. I didn't even think of. They just talk to so many people every day, and barbers are like therapists almost as
Yeah,
well.
right.
And it's
They are.
they've been a great referral source for me.
Yeah. And it's like, you just in barber, maybe a restaurant owner, whatever, anybody that's ultra local in an area. And if you're looking to really build and scale a business, like I like doing that on ultra local levels, right? Because especially if you're in development, right? Then you know the people down at City Hall, you know all the shakers and movers. You get through things so much easier. And I know there's people listening that do business in multi-states, multi-countries, and God bless you. You should, right? I want to get there. I want to get to that point. And I want to learn from you and from those people on how to do that. But everybody starts with this grand overall picture, but unless you're taking the massive action and starting somewhere, you're not getting anywhere. Right. You're not, it's just taking that action, taking those steps, making sure to protect everything you can and do things the right way and establish yourself and your business as somebody who is credible and protect yourself and protect your family. And that's so vital. It really is. I appreciate all of the intel.
Absolutely.
Al. Yeah. Tell me, let's talk about you for a second again. Like, what are some of your long-term goals? Like, you're a busy guy. I see you being very successful. You have been very successful. I see your career blowing up. I hear your name all over the place. Like, what is your long-term goals?
So my long-term goal is I currently, and you talk about building a legacy, is my stepfather is an attorney, and Mark Tourgee, he owns the
Great
practice.
guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great guy. He's
Talented.
taught me, very talented. He's taught me everything I know. And I mean, even for him at the age of 66, he's built a practice where he's not slowing down.
No.
Greg Inman's his best friend, his childhood friend. They opened this firm together. I feel like, people ask me, are they still going? I said, they're busier now than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So I absolutely see a future at Inman Tourgee, and I would love to continue that name and stay there long term.
Partner?
I would love to.
We'll see.
Yeah, just keep working hard, and
we'll see.
So we'll
good
see.
stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Al Georgio, Inman Tourgee,
thank you.
Attorney here that handles trusts, businesses, divorce, all of those other tough to deal with things, personal injury, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of personal injury. I know we spoke earlier. I am one of 9 attorneys there, so we all kind of handle our own field, but we are capable of handling any matter that somebody needs. Murder. We do have an attorney who's done
Criminal
murder
defense,
cases. So
yeah.
we do a lot of criminal defense, divorce, family law, personal injury, workers' compensation, social security, everything.
Yeah. And walking through your office, man, I got to meet all 9 of those attorneys. And they all specialize in something different, which I love because it's kind of like here, like, right? Like, I know I got somebody that specializes in commercial. I got somebody that specializes in multifamilies and land and new construction. And it's like, hey, you know what? If I need to know how to do something and I can't figure it out, I know who to pick the phone up and call or whose office to knock on, and I'm going to get that answer. So good stuff. Al, thanks again, bro.
Thank you so much,
Great
man.
job.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Al Georgio, Inman and Tourgee, thank you so much. And stay tuned. We're going to be right back here on The Wealth Architect. We have Tom Cantorino, and we're talking about how to make sure your business is found and scalable on Google and all other platforms that can help you with SEO. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on The Wealth Architect. If you're listening to this podcast, you either own or will own a home, a car, and need life insurance. That's why you should check out our friends over at Lapointe Insurance, LapointeINS.com. These guys are the best in the business. They can help you if you're in Rhode Island or Massachusetts. And let me tell you something, his dedicated team of professionals are there to assist you and meet you where you're at. You never feel like you're being sold. You felt like you're being helped. It's a family tradition over at Lapointe. Check them out, Lapointe Insurance. Going viral on social media, it's a goal everybody wants to hit. We're going to talk about it today on the Wealth Architect Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4, with our friend Tom Cantorino, the founder of Level Up Digital Solutions. What's up, Tom? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Now, Tom has previously been featured on Forbes and has won all sorts of awards growing up. He's an entrepreneur. He's run several businesses. He's very successful, and he's worked with dozens and probably hundreds of companies at this point, from everything from website development to SEO to making sure that his clients can go viral. Really, social media and marketing is so important. If you have a message, you're going to want it to get out, and you're going to want it to get out to the right people, and that's what Tom does. So, Tom, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's everyone wants to go viral. It's easier said than done. There is a little bit of an algorithm.
I'm excited to dig down and find that out. So take out your notebook, take out your pen, or type it up, whatever you got to do. And of course, if you have any questions at all, follow us on Instagram, and you can go ahead and DM Tom directly through there. We're going to tag him on this reel as well. And you can also find us on YouTube, subscribe there, and Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. So good stuff. Make sure you subscribe. So, Tom, everybody wants to go viral. So few people do, right? Like, what is it? What are people missing? What do we need to do? Like, let's dig into it.
Yeah, so there's a few things. So it's not even really a mystery, more or less. It's what's called an algorithm. So Instagram and the powers that be, they give us a kind of a formula that they think makes sense from an engagement perspective. And if we hit all those boxes in their formula, they give us more awareness, more visibility, expand our reach, etc. People don't realize when you post something, you get 7% of your followers are going to see that post.
That's it, just
7% until that post starts getting engagement. So it gets likes, comments, shares, etc. So those are for like static posts. For videos, it's actually the first 3 seconds are the most important. So we want the first 3 seconds is kind of like the hook to kind of get someone interested. And Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok all use the same algorithm. And it's really a view for the reels. It's really view through. So the more someone stays on the video for the start to finish, the better it is. If you can keep doing that, the better it is.
The more hits, so you got to really keep them engaged. Is there a time frame that people should be, putting these reels out? Is it like 45-second reels do better, 60, or does it even matter?
They say keep it short and sweet, and then have people go to a destination. So whether it be anywhere from 7 seconds to 15 seconds, really capturing that initial moment, and then hopefully driving people to the destination where they need to do the call to action. So
Got it. And I also heard like there's different platforms, Tom, where they want to keep you on that platform, right? And is that true? I mean, if you're sending people out of the platform, is it likely that that's going to do less damage? I mean, as far as hits, right, than something that'll keep them on?
yeah, so it would, but after we've already done our job. So we got someone to watch the video through the whole thing. That's what Instagram, Facebook wants.
Got it.
Where they click off, at that point, it doesn't matter.
Okay, got it. And they know they're going to come back. The app is in their phone.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
So I see a lot, and I don't want to get off topic here, but I see a lot of really good marketing happening where they got a really good hook, they pull you in, and it brings you into like a funnel type of system. And it's almost as if like it's so set up, and I feel like it is part of like Instagram, right? And everything looks and kind of follows like the same patterns of Instagram.
What you're describing is kind of like a Instagram lead form, more or less. So if someone was really interested and saw a video or whatnot, they can actually fill out information directly within the platform, so they don't have to go anywhere.
So my question, I guess, was, are you going to have more success when you stay in the platform versus when it's sent it out? No. Okay,
Nope.
cool.
From
That's
an ad
fascinating.
perspective, yes.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going to be spending ad dollars, yes, it's a better experience. But if you're just organically posting, no.
Got it. Where do a lot of people go wrong?
So people go wrong by thinking they know their audience and them not really knowing their audience, more or less. You'd be really surprised what resonates with certain populations, and also the repetitiveness as well. That is super important. Once our followers get into a rhythm of seeing kind of something similar, more or less, they're going to be more engaged. They're going to start to understand the brand. They're going to start to get a little bit deeper in what you guys are doing.
Repetition is so important. I mean, when I was in broadcasting school for the former program I was in, they said you need to repeat something 3-4 times during the segment, right? Like anybody that's tuning in right now, if you don't know, we're talking about how to become viral, how to get a video viral, how to get a post viral on social media. A lot of people get that wrong, and they have a hard time getting eyeballs on their stuff, right? And getting clicks into their funnel. And Tom Cantorino with Level Up Digital Solutions, right? I got that right? Good. He's here today to tell us exactly how to do that, which is awesome. So Tom, a hook is super important, which we've been finding out, right? Like I've had videos, I've had social media programs, and while as crazy as it sounds, my goal was not to become viral on these. My goal is just to connect with the right people like yourself or like Al, who was just on, or Pace Morby, like different people, right? To learn different things. But over the years, we've had some stuff hit. We've had a lot of stuff not hit, right? How important is that hook, right? That first 3-second hook?
It's really everything. So it really is the most important thing, because we don't want to give away everything what the post is going to be about.
Yeah.
So we want to say something like, watch this post and I bet you'll save $1,000 on your insurance.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if that person is now watching, they're engaged, now they're waiting for whatever the outcome is going to be. We don't want to just immediately come out and say, hey, if you can save $1,000 by doing XYZ.
Yeah.
And then they just swipe.
So for this segment, I probably should have said, learn how to get 1 million hits on Instagram. We're going to talk about it now, or something like that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Now you were talking about building an audience, getting in front of the right audience. And I think that's like kind of hard to do, right? And like I have different things that I've done with my real estate salespeople that I coach over the years that, you know, maybe I'll throw in here and tell you what I've done to figure out who our audience is, who our clientele is, who our desired clientele is, who we can serve best and grow with best. But I'm curious, like, how does one figure out exactly who they want to target, what the affinities, I guess, I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, what the affinities of that type of clientele are? Like, where do you start?
Yeah, so from an organic perspective, like just organically posting, the best you can do is really from a hashtag perspective. Believe it or not, people do save hashtags and will follow hashtags based on their preferences. So that's just one way to kind of start to segment, more or less. Another way, if you start doing if you do any type of paid ads or paid Instagram, Facebook ads, you can actually take your entire client list that you currently have,
Yeah.
and you can dump that into Facebook and Instagram in what's called a lookalike audience.
Nice.
So then the engines, the power that be, Meta, will then try to find the same exact avatar of your existing clientele.
Wow.
So whether it's a certain demographic, whether they're in the same mommy groups or they have an affinity to cheerleading, what have you, it's going to find the same type of buyer persona. That's a lot easier to do from a paid ad perspective.
Yeah.
From an organic perspective, it's a little bit of trial and error, utilizing the hashtags, staying up to date in any type of viral music that's trending. That's a good way to kind of cheat the system, more or less, is put a video together that you've already seen gone viral and just make it your own.
Yeah, that's huge. And music is so powerful. I mean, having the right music in the background, I've seen a difference in some of our reels or some things that I've done.
Yes. And one thing about music really quickly is whenever you add music to your reels, I always like to recommend making it an original. So whether you're going to be utilizing someone's music or whatnot, just upload it into Instagram so it looks like it's your original video, your original music. Because if not, and if that music is found that's plagiarism or it gets taken down, your post will get taken down as well.
Oh, wow.
So there's just a strategy around that as well. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And also, like, if somebody wants to use your original music, then it'll lead back to you.
Yep.
Right?
It's not a bad thing. Yep.
Wow. So there's like so many backdoor things that can happen and lead people over to you. I mean, it's like kind of mind boggling, right? Like, so if you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody, that's running businesses or in real estate development, or you're a real estate advisor and you're looking to grow your business, grow your brand, you don't have all of the time in the world to be doing this if you are somebody that is so well into your business, right? Like with me, I work with buyers, sellers all day, developing. I develop real estate advisors in their career, run the brokerage. Like, there's so many other things I'd rather be doing, Tom, than trying to figure out the damn algorithm, than trying to become, some sort of like celebrity or something. And I find that so many people don't hire professionals to do the right thing. Like, we just had an attorney in here, and so many people like do it yourself type of stuff, represent themselves in personal injury or making a trust, and they make all these mistakes along the way. Do you find that a lot of entrepreneurs don't like enlist you for your services because they're afraid of the expense, and then they end up paying more anyways down the road?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to realize what your time is worth. Is it what it stems down to?
That's
what
right.
I would always love to, from an organic social media perspective, if it can be handled internally at the business or whomever, I always recommend that. But 9 times out of 10, everyone is running around with chicken with their head cut off, and there's a lot going on. So hiring a professional that is giving full visibility to everything that's going on is beneficial. And we can show, I don't know, I can share with you also a few of our
we'll put it on the screen.
Case studies on a gentleman that retired golfer who went viral just from a few weird.
How old was he?
Weird posts. 76.
76 years old, going viral on
now
what?
He's sponsored by Nike. Now he has over 100,000 followers, and he's just doing the same type of clips. He's going up to golfers, asking if he can be their caddy.
This was one of your clients?
What's that?
One of your guys?
One of our clients.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. I love that. Great success story. And if you're like, well, how do I figure out like what my time is worth, right? Like, I'm working, like running all these things. I would suggest this. It's super easy. I would just say, hey, if you're running this business, right, whatever it is, say it's taking 30 hours a week, right? Just take the total amount of money you're earning from that, right? Let's say it's like $1 million. Okay, so $1 million in revenue, and you're working, let's just call it 40 hours a week, right? All you have to do is just break down that $1 million over 52 weeks, divide that by 40, and it's going to give you your hourly effective rate. Okay.
Right.
So basically, and I'm going to do that math real quick here. I don't know if anyone here in the studio got that down. Maybe some of our listeners are like, oh, it's this divided by 52 divided by 40, right? So it's $481, basically $481 to round it out per hour. Okay. So if your time is worth $481 an hour, why are you doing activities that would cost you $50, $60, $100 an hour?
Right.
And that's how I tell everybody in their business, building out their business, building out their real estate career, whatever. If you want to scale, you need to start hiring out. You need to start plugging into people that specialize in these things.
Exactly. Because a lot of people that do their own organic media and posts and say that they can do it themselves and whatnot, and 6 months go by and they're kind of sitting ducks more or less.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's almost harder to try to get that profile viral, have some viral rankings, because there's already some history. So sometimes, I mean, if the goal is to go viral, and that's not everyone's goal, more or less, most of the time, actually, it happens without even trying, and it just is like out of the blue.
Yeah.
And that's at a point where you kind of hone in on whatever that video was, and then you just keep reproducing.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff I see online that goes viral, I'm like, I'm just itching my head. I'm like, how is this going on? And then like we'll have some real bang up segments, right, where like people can watch these segments and literally become millionaires, right? And and it gets like 1,000 views, and I'm like, how the heck, right? And that's where you come in, right?
I mean, and there's even just you can go viral from sounds, from ASMR. Like it's
ASMR.
It's yeah, have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's like just, I guess the way to put it, it's like videos of just people over accentuating sounds. So whether it's chewing or whether it's like nails on a chalk, like it's it's a whole.
They do that when they're opening packages, like women, like they click like something or like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
With their nails. I don't really have, I cut mine, or my girl cuts them for me when I forget. So yeah, toenails too. It's amazing. I'm like, well, that's a whole nother subject. But sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. And I know a lot of guys can relate. Like 3 weeks later, she's like, what are you doing?
And then another thing too is to keep people visually engaged as well. So not only having the videos, but having some text overlay or maybe some pop-ups. And then, believe it or not, having really quick like zoom in, zoom out, just to kind of like tease the eye a little bit helps with engagement. Because remember, we want to tell a story. We want clarity, context, and then curiosity. So clarity, context, curiosity. So we want someone to really be curious about what this post is going to all be about.
It's getting harder and harder and harder to keep people like into a post or into any one subject.
Yep.
And I feel like all of this stuff is only making it worse, but you kind of have to. It's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses. It's like you just got to keep, I don't know, man. I wonder where people's attention span is going to be in 5 years.
It's so true, because literally we only have a few seconds to capture someone.
Yeah.
And I know in my field, most of my clients need at least 7 to 15 touch points before a prospect or someone that sees them is going to convert or give any information. So that's why I always like, if you're going to do organic social media, I always recommend, if you can, pair that with paid social media, because you'll get a lot more analytics from the paid side that can translate to the organic side. So it just helps each other. Once your organic work is kind of up and running and kind of progressing, that's the point where you can stop paying ad dollars and whatnot.
Got it. Let's do this. Let's give a couple. I'm going to throw you right in the oven, right on the spot, right? So this is fun. So, and you may not think so, but hopefully you do. All right. So let's give our listeners, let's do different businesses. Okay. I know, a lot of who listens here. Let's hit a couple different fields, a couple different types of businesses, and talk about some like quick pitches they could do, I guess, or some quick hooks that they could give to become viral. Okay, so I'm gonna throw out the industry, and
Okay.
I want you to give me a hook. For
Okay.
them.
Okay.
You want to do this?
Sure.
Yeah. All
Sure.
right. All right. All right. Real estate advisor. Quick hook for like Instagram video hook.
From a buyer side or seller side?
Good question. It's always sellers.
Always seller.
Well, not always, but I like sellers. Throwing them on the spot. Cue the music. Do, do, do,
Yeah, a few
do,
things.
do.
So one is going to be, so you have to think about, let me give some backstory. So you have
Yeah.
to think about what, if I'm going to see the post,
Yeah.
what's going to make me excited? What's going to make me drive, right? It's going to probably be maybe selling my house within
So the
15
visual.
days. Maybe it's a reduced fee, something. So maybe it's a 1% commissioned or something like that to get people. We never will get that, but I mean, we can do things like that will, again, it might not be
Like shock value.
that shock, right? It's a shock value, but then we've hooked them, so now they're gonna watch,
Yeah.
and now they're gonna that 1% will evolve into maybe something more real at the very end. But again, reversing the algorithm and trying to get in our viewers' heads on what's going to kind of get them excited and make them kind of want to reach out to you or get more business.
Well, it's funny you said that, right? Because immediately when you said that, I'm like, no, right? But that's it. Like that's shock value. And I probably would have clicked that. So, all right. I don't think realtors can talk. You didn't know this, but realtors can't be talking commission online, I don't think.
Got it.
Unless they offer that. I don't know. There's whatever.
Fair.
But I like that. All right. How about big developer coming into town and they're making reels and they're doing all this about, and they want to influence the community to put this huge shopping center in and mixed use and housing.
So that would be, so I would do something, again, if there's going to be two sides of this and people being, obviously they really want it and they really don't want it, we're probably going to want to go with the side that doesn't want it, more or less. So then we have to feed to their nervousness. It's going to destroy the area, environmental. So if we have a video where we have a hook that kind of showcases this developer's philanthropic opportunities, what they do in the community, what they've done in the community in the past, those type of things will kind of showcase that, hey, we are the good guys coming in, and this is what we're going to produce.
And this is what we're going to do. That's going to help. But do you think like showing some negative things could hook them in too?
Yeah, but you just want to be careful.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to, depending on what negativity it's going to be, it can backfire. And we don't want things to backfire. I always say no press is bad press.
Yeah.
But it also depends on your industry and whatnot.
True. Awesome. How about somebody selling cars? Car salesperson.
Are they looking for buyers or are they looking
buyers? Luxury cars. They're on Instagram or on TikTok and they want to give a quick pitch, a quick hook. What could that be?
You can do something silly like watch this video to see how you can get a girlfriend in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. Again, funny, simple.
Perfect. Maybe the wrong kind of girl, but
right, true.
She's only interested in your pockets, but yes, that's right. That's right.
Again, we're just trying to, it's not, we can, with social media, we can be a little more fluffy, a little more fun.
Yeah. So. There's no right or wrong answers to these things, really. I mean, it's one of those things too. You got to do it and you got to try it. And I think Gary V, like he's, like Gary V, right? He's just like, just throw it out there.
Yep.
Just keep putting stuff out there and something is going to stick, right?
Definitely.
And you need to like kind of learn like what will stick for you and everybody's different. But that's awesome. So if you have any questions at all, and by the way, Tom, thanks for being a great sport, man. I'm throwing curveballs at you and you're probably like, it's not easy. It's really not easy, but really, so if you're looking for somebody that can help you with your marketing and take your social media and put it viral, you need to be working with the specialists in that. And so Tom Cantorino and his team over at Level Up Digital Solutions, I don't know why I butcher that one, it's so easy, can really take a look at what you're doing and can help you with that. As they've helped their 76-year-old client, who is a golfer who now has over 100,000 followers. It's pretty amazing. What is he selling, by the way?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Selling nothing.
So now he's just like the face of like Nike and other.
Right.
Wow.
He's retired and he was just
What a world.
caddying for fun.
Wow. What a world. Wow. From caddying to modeling clothes for Nike or whatever he's doing. That's pretty amazing. Good stuff. Tom Cantorino, Level Up Digital Solutions. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Wealth Architect. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, TikTok as well, and Spotify. Tune in there, subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you back here next week on The Wealth Architect podcast.